Hi everyone. So today I'm doing this a little later, as you can tell. Let me just make sure we're popping on here. Yeah, let me just make sure. Hi everyone. So today okay. So you can't hear all the commotion outside, but it was so loud this morning I decided to postpone the live to later, and I really didn't give anyone an opportunity, a warning that this was happening, but I just want to hop on here, and if you're on, just say hi below in the comments, either watching live or watching the replay. And I thought I'd do a things that I love to talk about, like all the little tips and tricks and things like that. And I wanted to talk about things that, not content, but formatting, more about formatting your Facebook posts, okay? So one thing is, you got to remember, people are on their phone and they're 85% of people are looking at your posts from their phone, so they've got a break and they're scrolling, right? So let's say you have an image that stops them and they are starting to read, but all of a sudden there's so much content, it's one big blob of paragraph, that their brain says, I can't read this right now. I just want to go fast. I just want to see what's going on here. Remember, this whole thing is addiction, right? It's feeding the dopamine in our brain. All right. So our job is, as coaches, we've got to stop the scroll and hook them to start reading our content and start planting seeds. Okay. So one thing you don't want to do is, I have a little piece of paper here, is you don't want to be writing content that is just, one line after another after another. Okay? You really want to break up your sentences, and you don't want to have paragraphs that have more than 2 to 3 lines. 3 is pretty tops. Okay? You really want it, because if your brain sees something like this, it just shuts down. And a lot of times, right? Haven't you seen things that are just like, they just go on and on and on, and there's no break? There's no break in the content. Because remember, there's really 3 types of people that are gonna that when they hit your post, you've got scanners, people that scan and are looking for keywords. Okay, you have jumpers that like to jump from paragraph to paragraph, and then you have readers. Okay, and then there's people that say, forget it, I'm just moving on. This is way too complicated for me. So you want to make it easy for people. So the way to do that, let me take this off, is that when you write, you want to write, just think of it, isn't this much easier on your eye? Okay, I'm trying to get it all into the camera here. A couple of lines at a time, and then create a space. A couple of lines at a time and create a space. A couple of lines at a time, create a space. Now, the trick here on Facebook is that even though you created a space, like you entered and created white space, all right, you want white space. The eye wants white space. It's easier to jump from paragraph to paragraph, okay, rather than just get this blob of words, all right? So you want definitely, a couple of lines per paragraph. But the key here on Facebook is to put a dot in between your paragraphs to keep the white space open. Otherwise, Facebook's going to shut it down. Maybe you've seen that. All right. So tomorrow, if you write a post, do only 2 or 3 lines per paragraph. Put a dot, or you can put an asterisk, which is like the star, right? Okay. And that's what keeps the white space, and it's easier for your reader to read your content. Okay. So you definitely want to do that. The other thing that's great, I'm going to show you. If you're writing, I have other examples here, but I want to write it because it's just come to me. Let me write something down here. So let's say you're writing and you're in your group. In your group, you can use all kinds of different things. If you highlight a sentence, you can bold it, you can blow it up, okay? You can also do, so let's say you're writing, okay, so here's my 3 lines. And then I want to make a point, use the bullets. There's a bullet feature, okay? and start bulleting things out. It's easier for people to read bullets, okay, or numbers, okay. So that is a feature on in your groups. And then you can go back to writing a couple of sentences per paragraph. Do you see? Look at the white space, how it opens up. Okay, so you want to make it easier for people, because remember, people are barely conscious as they're reading, okay? So you want to make it easier for them to kind of jump through your content. And then they may hit a word in your sentence and then say, oh, what's that word? I like that word. Let me go back and read what you wrote. The other thing you want to be using is when you get to a good word, like something positive, capitalize the whole word so it stands out, okay? Remember the scanner or the jumper. So they're going to hit those key words and it's going to stop them. So from time to time, you'll see what I do is I'll highlight, I'll capitalize an entire word and I might do that on every sentence just to make the eye stop at that word so that perhaps they'll read it, okay? So you can do that. You can't do underline in groups, but you can do underline in your email, okay? But definitely use that. You can use italics as well. Let's talk about emojis for a minute. You want to use emojis, but not over accessorize. I use them, they're accessories, right? And they're fun. And use them, okay? It creates color, but don't overdo it, okay? It's like someone who, wears jewelry, has earrings on, a necklace on, a pin on, another pin on, and bracelets and rings. It's too much, right? It's too much. So use your emoji sparingly, okay? Sometimes I use them as my bullets. Instead of putting the bullets in, I'll use emojis as the bullets, like the finger or a star or the fire, something like that, okay? So that's some tips there. Now, let's get into something else. Okay, the other thing you want to do, so here is something that you want to separate it out with white space, right? Only 2 to 3 lines per paragraph. The other thing you want to put on a headline or a title, okay? It'll allow me to decide if I want to read on, okay? Something that's less than 8 words. Okay, so I don't have to think. I can just suck in the whole title with 8 words or less. All right, I don't have to read line by line. I can just get it, and I can decide if I want to read your content. So always have a headline, some kind of title. And there's ways to do that. I mean, you really want to hook them. There's a whole strategy regarding headlines, okay? But I'm not going to go into that today. But I just wanted to show you that you really want to do a headline, especially when you're doing a Facebook Live. So here I'm doing a Facebook Live, and what I'm going to do is there's no title, all right? So someone is scrolling and they see a live, but there's no title. It doesn't describe what I'm doing. What if they can't listen to my live because they're in a doctor's office, right? How would I let them know what I'm talking about so that they would maybe go back to it when they left the doctor's office? Okay, so you want to go back and you want to be sure you put a headline or title or description of what are you talking about on your Facebook Lives. That will grab the attention of your scroller, stop them. They'll say, oh, there's a headline, right? Headline, title about what's going on. That's something I want to come back to. I want to, mark that. I want to snapshot it. I want to do something to remind myself to go back and watch that live. Okay. So be sure, like for this one, I just hopped online. I will, at the end of this live, will go back and put a title on. Okay. So that people, when they scroll. So the other thing you want to be sure what you're doing is you want to be sure that when you are doing a post or a live, you want to do things that are called commands. Okay, you're commanding. It's called a command, but it's really you're telling people what to do. Call to action. All right, is the marketing term. You want to be telling people what to do next, because if you don't tell people what to do next, they're going to go off and do something. They're going to go to somebody else's page. So have them do something else regarding what you have to offer. Go watch another video of mine. Go read this post and put the link to the post there. Make it easy for people to stay on your page, stay working with you. Or if you use YouTube, put the link to your YouTube channel, exactly which YouTube video you want them to watch. Okay? Something like that. For instance, here, next week I am promoting, next week I'm doing on Facebook Live on Wednesday is all about the last quarter, the fourth quarter, which is like the most important quarter. This is where most money is spent on products and services, okay? So if you don't have a product or service or a program that you're selling in the fourth quarter, come get on to my program next week, 11 a.m. There is a recording going to be, and we're going to go over what you need to have in place, okay? Everyone should be selling something around Thanksgiving or Christmas, okay? Everybody is spending money, okay? You should be promoting something at that time. So if you need the link to the workshop for next week, just comment workshop below, okay? But you want to be telling people what to do. Click here, go here. Do you agree? You want to get people to comment below. Like right now, I've got a couple of gals on here. Obviously, I can't see a thing of who's on here. Let's see if there's any questions. How are we doing? So, these are great. Okay, I just don't want to stay on too long today. So you want to tell people what to do for sure. Okay, so there's all kinds of guidelines that you can do. And if you're interested, if you haven't already gotten, I have a whole packet of information on 60 plus content ideas and guidelines for Facebook posts. This is really kind of the do's or don'ts. One thing I have a pet peeve about is that there are people out there that actually providing what to say as a post, like 365 days worth of posts, get this product. And I have to confess, I once downloaded this or paid for it actually years ago to see what the heck was this, right? And it's just baloney, you guys. You don't want to be spending money on that. You want to be giving that's like fluff. Okay, we're out of the fluff. If you're a coach, you need to be providing value. You need to be telling stories. You need to be sharing experiences of your clients, things like that. None of this kind of fluffy stuff. So if you're up for, you don't know what to talk about, what to write about, I've got 60 ideal content ideas in here. And if that's up your alley, just write content ideas below and I'll get you the link. It's $7. And it's really worth it. And I go into here also around headlines and spacing and kind of the do's or don'ts on guidelines for Facebook posts. And then I also go in here, I've got the 60 different ideas. I give you ideas. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm going to give you ideas because everyone is different, right? So what you could do around your expertise, what are some of the procedures? What are some of the systems? What are some of the tools and strategies? Best of, things like that. And then I actually give you 20 examples of posts that you can put on your profile page to help move people, to get them pretty much into engaging with you. Okay, so that is available too. All right. I'm going to make this short because the noise is loud outside. I don't know how it is echoing out there. And I will see you all next week. Bye.